Let me make an observation. For the last few weeks I've been here, it never rains. But today, it rains. So, what is heaven telling you? Is heaven crying because this is the last? Or is it rejoicing? I do not know. Be that as it may be, a very good morning to all of you who are watching live streaming and the congregation who is present here. What is the meaning of life? Let me give you 3 quotations. Let me have the first quotation. The PowerPoint. Oh, the other one is not working. All right, anyway, never mind. This is a quotation I like. Life is like a roll of toilet paper. The closer it gets to the end, the faster it goes. Funny, but quite insightful. Number 2, our good friend, William Shakespeare. This is what he says about life. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. In other words, he's saying life is brief and meaningless. Of course, we know whom he copies from. The third person, our friend, we have been talking, Kohelet. What does he say? Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher. Utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. Or another translation, perfectly pointless, says the teacher. Perfectly pointless. Everything is pointless. Or the Hebrew again, for the sound, it says, Havel Havalim, Amar Kohelet. Havel, Havel, Havalim, Hakol, Havel. So, this morning, I have entitled my message, Living a Life That Truly Matters, or say yes to life. How do we say yes to life? And so this morning, I'm going to talk about 2 important things. One, what is the essence of the book of Ecclesiastes? And then, how do we live a life that truly matters? Or, another phrase, how to say yes to life. The book of Ecclesiastes, let's start with the mission. Now, the book of Ecclesiastes is about a man who is called Kohelet. And that is translated in your English Bible as the teacher. He's called the teacher, or preacher, or evangelist, or even the philosopher. He is a man on a mission to search for the meaning of life. And then on his modus operandi, that is the way he does his research, is first through observations, secondly through reflection, third through his experience, and fourth, royal experiment, whereby he puts on the persona of King Solomon. And so, what did he discover? This is what he discovered. Life sucks because we are living in a fallen, in a flawed, in a fragmented world, whereby we see, number 1, lots of suffering. We see political oppression. We see social injustices. We see sufferings. We see inequality. That's the first thing he sees. Secondly, life stinks because unexpected things happen to us that we do not prepare. As a result, hopes are dashed, hearts are broken, dreams are completely shattered. Third, human works, wisdom, wealth, wine, women are all futile. It is like chasing after the wind. Fourth, human beings cannot comprehend completely the ways and the works of God. For example, why do righteous suffer? Why do wicked prosper? Why do good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people? And so, the conclusion of Kohelet is this. It can be summarized in 5 words. Life under the sun. Next one, next slide. Life under the sun. Next. No, okay. Before that, there is no, all right? Never mind. It is to be summarized as life under the sun is Havel, or life under the sun is worthless, meaningless. And so that is a good summary of the book of Ecclesiastes. So the question now arises, since life is meaningless, can we still live meaningfully? Since life is pointless, all right, is there a point in living? And I have good news for you. Kohelet says yes. Even though life is meaningless, you and I can still live a very meaningful life. How? I have given you 3. All right? Do the best that you can. Number 2, be willing to take risks. And number 3, whatever you do, give your best. And this morning, I just want to give you 3. These are the 3 most important and significant ways of how Kohelet gives the recommendation, how you and I live a life that is meaningful, a life that truly matters. And so the first one, as you can see, enjoy life fully. Isn't that surprising? After all that he has said about life, he says, if you want to live a life that's truly meaningful, enjoy life fully. Observe a few things. Number 1, enjoy life fully occurs in the book of Ecclesiastes. Not 1 time, not 2 times, 7 times. Now, it tells you that he is very serious. He really believes that you and I, to live a life that truly matters, you and I must enjoy life fully. Secondly, out of the 7 times, 2 times imperative. It means, I command you, go and enjoy life fully. And this is his recommendation. And so, with this recommendation or admonition or exhortation arises 3 questions. But why? But when? But how? Let's start with the why. Why? Why does the Kohelet in the book of Ecclesiastes says, live life fully? I can give you 3 very compelling reasons, biblically as well as practical. Reason number 1, the ability to enjoy life fully is a gift from God. It is from God's hand. It is what God has apportioned us. In fact, the Message puts it the other way beautifully. Your pleasure is God's pleasure. Wow! Fantastic, isn't it? Number 2, enjoy life fully because life is brief, life is short, and life is fleeting. In Singapore, the age of man has increased, correct? Number 1, men live up to 83. Women will live up to 85. But to Kohelet, it is still short. It is still short. So life is brief. Third, life has an expiration date. Just like your teen food, correct? Your teen food has expiration. And you and I will not live forever. One day we will die. The passing away of Queen Elizabeth II at the age of 96 and the longest reigning monarch reminds us that death is no respecter of persons or positions. We will die. And so that's why Kohelet says, enjoy life fully. And that is what we must do if we want to live a life that truly matters. Now comes the question, how? There are many ways to enjoy life, correct? There are many ways. Falling in love, getting married, having children. That is part of enjoying life. Going on a date is enjoying life. Going to the Esplanade to watch, to hear a concert, that's enjoying life. How about attending the Grand Prix next week, Singapore? That is one way. Or, better still, fly to Qatar and watch what? The FIFA Cup. So, there are many ways of enjoying life. And so, take these opportunities to enjoy life. Now, let's come back to Kohelet. Suggestions. And he is addressing to, I'm happy to say, husbands and wives. Let's have the other slide. All right. Before that, this is a very good phrase in Latin to remember. All right. Before that, go back to the next one. All right. Memento mori, memento vivere. And in English, it means remember you must die. That is memento mori. And then memento vivere, therefore you must live. Wow, what a statement. All right, next. Let's go. All right, this is what Kohelet says. Seize life, eat bread or eat food with gusto, drink wine with a robust heart. Oh yes, God takes pleasure in your pleasure. Dress festively every morning. Don't scheme on colors and scarves. Relish life with the spouse you love each and every day of your precarious life or each and every day of your Havel life. Husbands, the recommendation given by Kohelet is that you enjoy life not alone, but together with your wives. Now, I think husbands will agree with me, wives will agree, there are times you need space, correct? There are times. But the encouragement is enjoy life together with your wife. Husbands, do not forget, your wives, right, is a gift from the Lord. So acknowledge her, appreciate her. And two of the ways that I can think of how husbands can appreciate their wives. Number one, do things that she likes. Not all the time you like. Number two, let her splurge on shopping. Correct? That's how you show appreciation. Oh, I can see the laughter. I am not kidding. You look at now, by the way, the message is not a translation, it's a paraphrase. What does he say? Dress festively every morning. Don't scheme on colors and scarves. Go on a shopping spree. I just learned that I've been told shopping is a therapy. Have you ever heard? It's a therapy, it's true. One of my friends told me, whenever I am stressed, I will go to shopping. And that is my therapy. The problem with shopping therapy is that at the end, she will at least buy one new dress. All right? But it's okay. Isn't that what Kohelet says? Dress festively every morning. You want to dress nicely? Guys, husbands, you must allow your wives to shop and to splurge. And wives, what does he say? Don't scheme on colors and scarves. It's trying to tell you, when you buy lipsticks, don't only buy one dark color and make yourself black. Buy an array of colors. Wonderful. Isn't it fantastic? Kohelet says this. All right? And so, husbands, remember, part of enjoying life is to appreciate your wife. And for those of you who are more spiritual, Enjoying life means what? Attending cell groups with enthusiasm and with passion. That is one way. All right. So, husband and wives, what Kohelet is recommending is that when you enjoy life, don't enjoy by yourselves, but enjoy with your wives. And so, part of enjoying together as husband and wives is learning to share. And when we talk about sharing, there is a story that comes to my mind that I like. It's a story about an elderly couple who goes into McDonald's. And in McDonald's, this couple only order one set. And then after ordering, the couple began to sit down. And so what the husband does is that he pours the Coke and divide into half, cuts the Big Mac into half, and then splits the fries into half. And so the husband is eating, the wife is watching. And across them is a young man who thought that, hey, this is so pitiful. Maybe they don't have money. So why don't I buy an extra set for them to eat? And so he approaches the couple and he asks the couple, how long have you been married? And so together they replied, 50 years. And so the young man asked, what is the secret of your marriage? And so they replied, or the husband replied, the secret of our successful marriage is that we always put the other first, and whatever we do, we always split 50-50. And so the man sees the man eating, and the wife is not eating. And so he asks the wife, why are you not eating? And she replies, because it is his turn to use the teeth. What? What? This is love. This is really, truly love. Husband and wives, the day you do that, that will be a beautiful day. All right, so husband and wives. But that's not all. The next one, all right? The next one. All right. Looks like the slides and me are not coordinating, but it's okay. To young people, is there a text? Oh, okay, never mind. This is to tell you that Shalom Baptist Chapel, it is not a sin to eat rich food. Do not feel guilty when you eat rich food. It's nothing wrong to eat tasty Sri Lankan chili crab, succulent Wagyu beef, delicious, sizzling Peking duck. It's okay. Once in a while, pamper yourselves. This is one of the ways to enjoy life. Why? Because in the book of Ecclesiastes, you know the word eat occurs how many times? 14 times. Eat, eat, eat. And then Kohelet says, when you eat with gusto, eat heartily, drink happily. And so, eating is one of the most common ways to enjoy life, correct? Shalom Baptist Chapel, I am excited that you are embarking on a program, and that is called Intentional Christian Disciple, ICD. Do you know in Jesus' time, Jesus initiated a project. It is IED. And what does that stand for? Intentional Eating Fellowship. Do you know? Read the Gospels. You'll find that Jesus spent a lot of time eating with the sinners. And of course, don't tell people that you like to eat. I mean, it sounds like you are a glutton. Tell them, table fellowship. That sounds better. I like to have table fellowship rather than I love to eat. All right, let me show you some of the ways I'm enjoying my life or have enjoyed my life. Next slide. Okay, this is the one that that I want you all to know. Kohelet is the only book in the Bible that addresses to you, young people. No other books in the Bible that addresses young people. And that tells you that he is very interested in Generation Y and Generation Z. See what he says. Rejoice, young person, while you are young. Your heart should make you happy in your prime. Follow your heart's inclination, whatever your eyes see. But know this, God will call you to account for all these things. This is a scripture verse that troubles a lot of scholars. Why? How could Kohelet tell you young people, go, follow your heart's desire, whatever your eyes see, do? Correct? Because young people, you are at the age whereby you are most vulnerable. You grow wild. A lot of us who have passed that stage can tell, you grow wild. But I have no problem. You know why? Because there is a caveat. Follow your heart's desire. Let your eyes, whatever your eyes see, you do. But remember, what is that last verse? God will call you to account for all these things. So even though Kohelet recommends young people, go follow your heart's desire, whatever your eyes desire, go for it. But remember, God holds you to account. All right, next one. Okay, now this is table fellowship. All right, this one, all right, April. Do you see what I see? Half of the table are from Shalom Baptist Chapel. What occasion was this? We were celebrating the installation of faith, and then as well as recognizing your chairman. All right, he got an award for being a servant leader. Next. 2 weeks ago, we went to Bollywood, and once again, table fellowship. All right, next. After that, we took a walk to enjoy the trees. Now, that is called enjoying life. And that was what we did. Next. All right. This is a group of people that I've known them for the last 15 years. And they make me their family pastor. And there are many stories I can tell, but they are precious to me. So, meeting people when God connects you. Next. All right. This is another way I enjoy life. This lady that you see, I met her 52 years ago when she was about 14, 15. And the parents were in Penang at that time when I was a student, and they sent her to America to study. And this was the girl that asked 101 questions. And through her, God helped me to hone my apologetic skills. Today, she's happily married to a Jewish lawyer, and they have three children. Every time she comes back to Singapore, we will meet up, and she will always insist of having local food. And so we had satay, and you can know the place, Lau Pa Sat. Next. Before COVID-19, I used to swim. And then before swimming, we will have exercise. That was enjoying life. But sadly, I no longer go after the COVID. Next. Another way I enjoy life is to study the Word of God in the original Hebrew language. And so this was my Hebrew teacher. She is a Jew, PR in Singapore, and she is an Orthodox Jew, which means she will walk to the synagogue at Bencoolen. You know, you remember, Orthodox Jew, you cannot do anything on Sabbath. You cannot drive, you cannot take bus. That is considered work. And so, in April, in preparation for this, I had a chance to study Book of Ecclesiastes, certain sections in the Hebrew language. And then beside there is my friend. She is, you'll be surprised, an Oriental Jew. Her grandmother is buried in Penang, and she practices Judaism. Next. The real enjoying life is this. And by the way, this is also the favorite place of Sising. This is how I enjoy life. Every once a year, I will make it a point to drive to Port Dickson. All right? And this is where, and of course, Port Dickson will be nothing without. Next slide. Yes. This family, they are my close friends and my good friends, and also the friends of Matthew Lin. Every time, Port Dickson, without them, would be nothing. Nice people. You can ask more from Sising, all right? Ho Ping, the wife, and then the children. Next. Yes. Last month, 52nd anniversary, a few of us gathered together, meeting with one another. And guess what? 52 years of friendship. Huh? As Jiang Hu says, 很难得. And we were able to meet up and then share. That is part of living. All right? Next. Do you know who are these two people? Okay, I'm glad you do not know. Neither do I. This is Mount Everest. And you know why I put this picture? This could have been Ayan and me. Huh? Imagine Ayan and me. Had Ayan not rejected my invitation, do you know a few years ago, as part of enjoying life, I wanted to climb Mount Everest. I invited your lead pastor. Unfortunately, he turned me down. What a waste. If not, today, that would be, imagine, Ayan and me. And you know why he turned me down? Later I found out. Because I told him, I want to climb Mount Everest by taking a helicopter. No wonder. I think he must say, what? Climbing Mount Everest, taking helicopter. Honestly, that was to climb a bit. And then after that, on top. All right? So that's way. Next. Part of living fully is to go to Hong Kong and then meet Bruce Lee. All right? And what a fight. Of course, you know, if we were involved in a fight, my name would be not Bruce Lim, but Bruce Lim. All right? So that is how I enjoy life. Another one. You know who is this person? Well, thank you very much. Yes. When I was growing up, I was fascinated by ninjas. And so I had to go to Mia Prefecture where the ninjas started. Do you know I was so crazy that I wanted to change my name to Ninja Lim? And can you imagine if that is my name today, your pastor invited. This morning we were very happy to have Ninja Lim with us. Of course, everyone laughed. And then I will put on this costume. And have you ever thought, what if one day I come and put on this costume and preach? What will be your reaction? So these are some of the ways I enjoy. I practice what the Bible teaches. Enjoy life. Part of enjoying life is what? Do what you really like to do. All right, next. Any more? All right. In my home, I have two posters that I treasure very much. One in the living hall, the other in my office. Let me read to you what it says. Life is to be enjoyed. Never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. Next. Treasures the moment. Life is made of little moments. Enjoy every moment life brings you. What a recommendation to you and me. Enjoy life fully. And for those of you who do not know, have no ideas how to enjoy life, next, let me recommend you this book that I bought from Kinokuniya 2 weeks ago. And the book says, Live Life Now. In this book, it gives you 265 ways of enjoying life. Read this book and you will enjoy life more. All right, so number 1, live life fully. Number 2, next, fear God truly. Again, all right, here is my final conclusion. Fear God and obey His commandments, for this is the entire duty of man. For God will judge us for everything we do, including every hidden thing, good or bad. The second thing to remember, to fear God. Now, the word fear God can be, it's not a ghostly fear, it's a godly fear. And the word fear God, all right, appears 8 times in Ecclesiastes. And so, the Koheleth is serious about fearing God. So what does it mean to fear God? To fear God means to stand in awe of His greatness. To fear God is to recognize who He is and what we are. To fear God is to acknowledge the distance between God and us, the differences between God and us, and then the distinction between God and us. Question: how do we fear God? Very simple. You fear God by obeying His commandments. You cannot say you fear God if you do not obey His word. So to sum up, to fear God means to obey His word. Note carefully. Koheleth, on one hand, he says, enjoy life fully. On the other hand, he also says, fear God truly. You see, these two things are two sides of one coin. Sometimes as human beings, when we live life fully, we tend to go to extreme. Or we tend to do things that we say, living for me is to sin. But do not forget, if you fear God, when you live life fully, you will not do things that are sinful or that are wrong. All right, so number 2, fear God truly. Number 3, remember God, your Creator, daily. Remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the days of trouble come and the years approach when you will say, I find no pleasure in them. Now, once again, Koheleth takes interest in you, Generation Y and Generation Z. You see? Remember God, your Creator, daily in the days of your youth. And that, remember, to you young people, is not a suggestion. It's a command. Don't you ever forget that God is your Creator. And the other thing that is interesting when you look at the text, Koheleth did not say, remember the Creator, but he specifies, remember your young people. God is your Creator. And so, why did Koheleth he tells the young people, Generation Y and Z, the millennials and the internet generation? Because God is the originator of your life. Whether you believe or you accept, to Koheleth, this is a biblical fact. God is the originator of your life. Number 2, why does Koheleth informs us, tells us to remember? This is to young people, to young people. Why? Because by remembering God, your Creator, will help you to not to sin. See, young people, you are at a very vulnerable stage. Number 1, as young people, right? Young means, I would say, from 10 to 40. I consider you young people or days of your prime. You face challenges. When you get married, you will have children. All right? And then, on the other hand, you also have to work. So you face challenges. How to balance your priority. Number 2, young people, by now I hope you realize you and I are living in a world where dog bites dog. And you will face the temptation of sinning against God. How? Lying, cheating, just to advance your career. Temptation will come. You will compromise your Christian belief. And therefore, Kohelet says, when you remember your Creator daily, it will put a break. At least helps you not to sin, not to compromise. And the third reason is this. Remember your Creator in your daily, in your prime, because God will hold you to account. One day, when you die, you will have to give an account. And so, let me give you a phrase, young people, and this applies to the Pioneer and Merdeka generation as well. In life, you are responsible to God, and in death, you will be accountable to God. In life, you are responsible to God. In death, you will be accountable to God. So, today's takeaway, Kohelet's messaging to all of you, whether you are Pioneer, Merdeka, you are Generation X or Y or Z, his messaging to all of us this morning is that to live a life that truly matters. Number one, enjoy life fully. Number two, fear God truly. Number three, remember our Creator daily. That's a story told of a very wise man in ancient Israel. In ancient Israel, there lived a very wise man who could answer any question anyone could ask. And so one day, a group of boys decided to test this man. And this is how they would do it. They will go to this wise man, and one of them would carry a bird in his hand. And the question that they would ask the wise man is this: wise man, is the bird in my hand dead or alive? And if the wise man says alive, the boy would squash the bird. And if the wise man would say dead, the boy would release the bird. And so next day, true enough, they went and visited this wise man. Wise man, tell me, is the bird in my hand dead or alive? And all the boys were gloating because they really believed they got him. And the wise man looked at those boys and he only said 5 words. And the 5 words are, it is as you will. It is as you will. In the same way, Kohelet says, at the end of it, whether you live a life that truly matters, it is all up to you. It is all up to you. So, for today's takeaway, I have prepared a small card. A small card, you know why? Because as human beings, the small card is to remind you, is to reinforce, all right? And to refresh what I have preached today. Because as human beings, once in a while we seem to have spiritual amnesia or spiritual dementia. And so take this card, put it in your wallet, put it on your table to remind you what does it mean to live a life that truly matters. So ushers, can you come? Let us do an activity. And then I want you to stand. All right, would you stand with me? This is what we're going to do. I am going to ask you, how do you live a life that truly matters? Turn to the back, say the three things. All right? And then I will frame it in another way. How to say yes to life. And this time, we use all the R's. All right? Number one, instead of enjoy, you can say rejoice fully. Number two, the next R, revere. The word for fear is revere. And last, remember. So we use the three R's. All right? Are we ready? Together in unison. And I want to hear a forceful response. How do you and I live a life that truly matters? Amen. All right, one more time. How do we say yes to life? Rejoice fully, revere God truly. Hey, come on, correct. Amen. Please be seated.